stuff happens. And I just said, I'm not going to come in because you're just going to, tell me that I'm fine. And she just said, well, I said, why are you pausing? She said, it's not cancer. I'm like, I'll be there in 20 minutes. So I drove over to Coldwater Canyon. I don't know if any of you know Los Angeles, but there's like this really cool canyon road to go into Beverly Hills. So I did that, went in, and the doctor told me I had a tumor called a glomus-Bagali tumor. It's typically benign. It's a vascular tumor. It was really big, so it was the size of an egg, and it was between my inner ear and my dural sac, where all your nerves intersect. So it was like the LA interchange of like your nervous system on your left side of your body. So strangely enough, I was totally relieved that something was wrong. Like, I was just like crying. I'm like, I'm not wrong, And so there became the process of selecting what to do. And surgery was the only option because it wasn't something you could radiate. So I had a very serious surgery at age 30. I had a ton of love and family and friends by my side. And it was a 10.5-hour surgery, and it was successful, but they had to take 2 nerves and graft another, and my facial nerve had been, like, they clip it into place, so it was not functioning, but hopefully due to function. So I did a lot of prayer. I was studying Science of Mind and Course in Miracles at the time, and really was on it with all that. And my mother had just retired, like really close to that time, so I went and stayed at her house. And thus began a long healing journey. And to make that a little, shortened, my face was not healing. I was able to swallow quickly because I was really determined, and I was able to, I couldn't speak for months. I had to wear a little, it was when the movie The Piano came out too. So I was like, Mom, can you give me a little string with like a paddle? It was a Holly Hunter. Can I be her? Maybe I'll just be like her the rest of my life. Or the woman that was deaf that was so famous, Marley Matlin. I could just be her. And my mom's like, oh my gosh, she's nuts. So I continued to work during that time. 2 things happened. So they sent me all the clothes from Asia because that was my passion, and they wanted to keep me on board. So we set up an office in the house. And because my face wasn't healing, I just come back from the doctor in LA, and they're like, we don't know what to do for you. We don't have a healing journey for your nerves. We don't know. So we're driving back, and I've never meditated. And my mom's driving by this thing, and I see Transcendental Meditation Center, like a mile from our house. And there's only 6 of them in the United States at that point. And I'm like, she's like, what? So we go in, and I'm given a mantra, and I meditate for 20 minutes with them. And then I go home, and I do my meditation for another 20. And I wake up the next morning, and I don't have to take my eyes shut anymore. And my eye have movement starting. So I was just very naturally committed to that for years. And then I moved out of LA and started to study yoga. And I had a phenomenal teacher who I just love dearly from Spokane. I moved to Spokane, where my mom's roots were. And I hired a coach at one point to decide what I was going to do with my life and my career. And I decided that yoga was going to get huge. And that there needed to be clothing, and that's what I did. So I didn't know how. I mean, I thought I would work corporate, and that someone would hire me at that point. But I was like 10 years ahead. They're like, yoga, Adidas is like, get out of here. And I was like, what? We'll never do yoga wear. All of them ended up doing it, of course, but a lot later. And I'm not the millionaire, they are. But I have a great company that's been through a lot of ups and downs. I love my customers. I sell to 2 of the top yoga institutions in the United States. One's Kripalu Center for Yoga and Health up in Lenox, Massachusetts, where I ended up moving prior to coming here. I've been there like 14 years, and have studied extensively there and studied different types of healing modalities. And then Canyon Ranch is there. They're a customer of mine, so that kind of ignited from there. And Jiva Mukti is the wild yoga studio in Manhattan that just teaches in Sanskrit. They're really intense, and they're very, very cool. And so they're my account as well. And when I met my husband, my company, that was 10 years ago, my company was at $20,000 because I just couldn't. And it had been up and down and sold to mail order catalogs, all that stuff. But it was kind of just me a lot of the time. And I just did it as a hobby while I raised the 2 stepkids that were still at home. And I sent out some t-shirts one year just to experiment, and I grew by 400%.
Wow.
So we moved to a bigger house, and then we had to move me out of the house. And I opened a store a couple years later as a flagship with our manufacturing in the back, because the Berkshires are not an apparel hub. And any of you know that. Yeah, exactly. So, and I hadn't done a trade show in years. I think my immune system had suffered all this time, and I did contract chronic Lyme, lucky me, and have had to deal with that as well, but very successfully. So we moved here for my husband's job a year and a half ago, and 7 months later he lost the job, so he's not working. And the cool part is I closed everything up there, so our overhead, like our finances, it just was magic, that part. And I decided to do a trade show. I grew 12%. I did another one in October. I grew another 12%. And I landed a sales rep who has 150 accounts. And she's selling me to like the cream of the crop for chic boutiques. And I'm being really blessed. And even though our situation's so hard in some ways, and it's hard in a marriage for roles to change, and I don't make what he made at all. But he's in the defense industry, so totally different. And it's just kind of, I think it's going to work out, and it's another journey to be on. So I've been having fun. Since I closed the store, I have all this merchandise, so I offer it at wholesale or below. And I've had a couple little studio sales, and this will be the biggest. So I'm really excited to offer it to you. And if you have any questions, let me know. And if you have a problem with anything, once you get it home, take my card, and you can, let me know. And we mostly work with bamboo, which I have a special blend made in Canada in our colors and black. We work with t-shirts. A lot of t-shirts we buy from other companies because I don't do that piece, but we do all the graphics and colorations. Sarah over here is offered to organize my office, 6 months ago?
Yeah,
You never left. I think you did a good job. I'm like, who are you? I need help organizing. And then after she had done that, she's the only person who'd organized, and you can't hire her for this, who didn't ask me one question and during the whole time, and I knew where stuff was, and she could tell me, well, she knows where lots of stuff is. And then I asked her, what else do you know how to do? And she's awesome in Adobe Photoshop. She's learning Adobe Illustrator really rapidly. Her sense of color, style, she did a lot of our materials you'll see for the trade show, and the signs she hand painted, and it's just bringing this. You have to have a good assistant as a designer. You have to. You can't do it by yourself. So I'm totally excited about that. And then another neighbor, Christy Thompson, showed up really soon after I moved my business here, and we've been struggling with the website for about 15 months, and the state of Massachusetts gave me a grant to build my website, and these women just weren't taking it to the top. I was like, come on. She got it. I think it was up and running within a month. So that was a complete crazy blessing too. So I'm stepping out and excited. I think that's it. It's called Ancient Language. Our website's ancientlanguageinc.com. I always wanted to call it that, but it's since day one, but it's been like 4 different names. And then you finally get your courage up to name it what you really want. Everything tells you. And someday, if it's to be, I want to incorporate wisdom from other languages besides Sanskrit and the yoga world, because I think there's just, it's all the same. You know, it's all stuff we need to remember all the time. So, just want to thank you for being here. I'm really excited. It's so fun to meet people here too. We're newbies, so.
I bought several items from you, and I love every single one of them. This shirt is one. I can tell that you're wearing your shirt. I wear your stuff to the Y all the time. I mean, I bought some great workout shirts and leggings. And
Yeah, we do. So we have some athletic, that's a good point. So we have some athletic fabrics that are top notch. They're sold by Beyond Yoga. Lulu's bought from that company, not the sheer stuff. And they, who else uses it? Like so many activewear companies use it. So I have access to some old contacts in LA. So I've got some really cool crops that fit great. I have like this bamboo flowy, which has a V waist. And this looks terrible folded, but this halter is crazy comfortable. Like it looks really awesome. So I have these, and this is a large, and I'm an 8 or 10. So don't be shy of the sizes. So anyway, have a blast, and I probably won't remember everybody's name, but I'll try.